Welcome to Streams of Income, hosted by best-selling author and entrepreneur Dr. David Powers, where we discuss streams of income, passive income, residual income, and even why there are dinosaurs and zombies in this intro. Fasten your seatbelts and get ready to dive in.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Streams of Income podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you are willing to give me some of your time to listen to either a business lesson or an interview with an amazing entrepreneur. So once again, thank you for listening to the Streams of Income podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Hey everybody, welcome. And so before you have questions, let me go ahead and answer those right out the gate and get it out of the way. Dave, why are you dressed up like you're getting ready to go on a winter expedition? Well, I'm in my basement. I've talked about this a lot before. My home office is in my basement. We've got this big farmhouse and a huge basement. I mean, really huge. And it's all nice and built out. I mean, we've got a kitchen over there. There's bedrooms down here, everything. But here's the thing. Those of you that have basements, you realize that the heat and cooling in the basement is weird. And this one's actually a walkout basement too. Tilly, if you're watching the video, I'm spinning that around and there's the walkout. And so it looks out onto my backyard and the farm next door where the horses are and all that good stuff. And so the temperature in here is weird. And it's also that time of year here in South Carolina where I'm not quite sure if it's winter or if it's fall or spring or possibly even the hint of summer. Right now it's a wintertime morning, but it could be 70 degrees this afternoon. I don't know. So instead of turning the heat on and then turning it off to turn the AC on, it's easier just to bundle up in the morning in the basement here and take it off as the day goes on. So I'm sure you wanted to tune in for all that, but those of you that are wanting to be entrepreneurs and streams of income and have nice, comfortable offices at your W-2 job, these are just some of the things you're going to run into when you move into a home office. But I will tell you, it is all worth it. I wouldn't trade this for an office or a cubicle. It gives me shivers and makes my neck tingle just saying that word. I wouldn't trade this for any of that. It's just wonderful. I get to spend all day with my kids, help do the homeschool. I get to, watch the squirrels and the donkeys and everything walk around outside. And it's just way more fun and worth having to bundle up a little bit. All right, so with that preamble out of the way, let's get into the meat of what this podcast is about. I have had tons and tons of questions, mostly on my Instagram, because I post a lot of pictures from my journals on Instagram. So if you're not following me on there, be sure to follow me. It's at Dr. just the DR, Dr. David Powers on Instagram. So it's just at Dr. David Powers on Instagram. Easy to find. You usually find me talking about family, fitness, things like that on Instagram a lot. I also talk about my journal and I get a lot of questions. I am a huge journaling person. If you're not a journaler, you're not writing that stuff down, you need to be. And here's the thing. Some of you just don't like to do something regular like that. Some of you don't like the routine. Some of you think it's just extra work. And I don't know. It's just, I like it. It helps me. Also, when I look back in history, pretty much all of the most famous people in history, and I'm talking the ones that last, not the ones that come and go, like a lot of the people nowadays, the famous people. I'm talking about the famous generals, famous leaders, famous emperors, presidents, explorers, kept amazing journals, and how they felt when they were doing those things. A little sip of energy drink to get the caffeine flowing. So I like to journal because I plan on being one of those legendary people that, my words are preserved throughout history. I got to be honest with you, some of y'all ain't going to like it if my words are ever put out in public, but still, we'll probably all be dead and gone when that happens. But I wanted to talk to you about my journal, how I do it. And so I created my own journal, and I call it the Mullet Journal. It's all business in the front, party in the back. So there's a glance of the front, all business. It's like checklist and stuff. And then on the back, is the fun side, the creative side. You see I got a picture of Dr. Aphra from Star Wars on there. I'll explain all that in a second. But like I say, it's business in the front, party in the back. I call it my Mullet Journal. I created it myself, and I've created some customized versions of this for some of my clients. I tell you what, if you want a version of this that you can kind of customize for yourself, let me know in the comments, email, whatever. Just get in touch with me. And I'll send this to you. We'll get in touch, and I will send you a kind of a semi-blank form of this. You can customize for yourself. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go down each section, go through each section, and explain why it's there, what I'm doing. All right, so at the top, I mean, obviously, I've got the date, and I always write it. I write the date in military fashion, day, month, year, and the month is spelled out in the initials, and so that's just habit. Under that, I write the day of the week, and just trying to learn a little more and get closer to my Viking heritage. I write the days of the week in Norse, and so Manadagar. I know I pronounced that wrong. My buddy Paul Germo, if he hears this, he's going to be like, "Oh, Dave, please, Dave, if you can't say it better, don't say it at all." But I write them in that fashion. And as far as I know, Mana, most of our days of the week, you can see how this actually turned into Monday. Mana, M-A-N-A, I believe referred to their moon god or moon goddess, probably a goddess for the moon. And then D-A-G-R, the word for day for them. You can see how most of these turned into like Thursday. Thursday was actually Thor's Day. That's where the days of our week came from. Y'all probably didn't know that. And then I write something about the weather. The night before, I prepare these journals, my daily journal, the night. Okay, all right, sorry, I messed something up there. Making sure I did not mess it up. All right, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I didn't see the record thing up in the upper right-hand corner, and I was afraid I'd forgotten to start recording. Oh, I'm probably the only one that's ever done that, right? No, I actually recorded an incredibly long, really good podcast with a friend of mine. I forgot to record the entire thing one time. Okay, so the weather. I prepare these journals the night before. I kind of write out my goals. I write out the things I want to accomplish that day. I write out just everything I could do the day before everything happens. So that helps me prepare my mind and my body for the day and actually get the day set so that I can attack the day instead of it attacking me when I wake up in the morning. And so one of those things, I look at the weather forecast. Today, supposed to be from 20 to 43 degrees. I'm sorry, no, this was yesterday. Yesterday, 20 to 43. And it was a little colder than the few days before and very sunny. That's what I wrote down. And the next section is, I call it the wake up and boom section. This is my morning routine block. Everything is written in blocks. So if you're watching this on the video, you can see when I keep showing it to you. The wake up and boom morning block. I've got, I give myself a score for each one of these two. There's a little box and I rate myself on how it went. Let's say I had an incredibly horrible morning and didn't get to half my stuff. I would rate that score lower. Like for instance, today I was supposed to have my prayer walk, my regular Tuesday morning prayer walk in Liberty, South Carolina, where I live. I go walk around downtown, pray about all the business owners, the buildings, the town leadership while I'm walking around town. That's part of my Tuesday morning thing. And I wasn't able to do that. Matter of fact, I should be doing it right this second, but my truck would not start. And my wife's gone. And guess what? Whatever's wrong with my truck drained my portable starter. And so I got to wait till my wife gets home so I can jump start my truck and, go check the battery, all that good stuff. So this morning's rating on the morning routine will not be a good one. So I have a rate myself. I've got these blocks for different things I do, like cold. I try to do a big cold water splash in the morning. Mobility, that's always one. As soon as I roll out of bed in the morning, usually around 5:50, I roll out of bed. And I do about a 10-minute long stretching and flexibility routine. And then prayer. I go upstairs. Nobody's up when I get up. It's still dark outside, still dark in the house. I go up and I sit on the couch in the sitting room, and that's where I sit and pray before everybody wakes up. Then I've got my Bible reading. And I've got a study I'm doing into wealth in the Bible, actually like wealth in the Old Testament. I'm doing a study on that right now. And so I wrote in gold in my Bible section. Normally I would write in like the book I'm studying and that kind of thing. And then read. Usually after I do my Bible reading, I will read some in a book. I just finished Boundaries, again for the second time. But here lately, I've been working on my book, my Midwife and the Medic novel. And so that's what I wrote in for yesterday. I worked on that book. I write in my wake up time. Yesterday was 0552. And the reason. Now, I've been monitoring why I wake up. I don't know, maybe one morning out of, 100 days, I don't wake up until my alarm goes off. So I set an alarm for 6. But most often, I'm training my internal clock is what I'm trying to do with that. And so trying to train my mind and body so that my body just wakes up when I want it to. And that's working. More often than not, I'm within 5 minutes of before my alarm goes off, my body wakes itself up. So that's pretty cool. I'm enjoying that. I really hate the alarm. Most of you probably do. And so if you want to get away from the alarm, you got to use the alarm as a backup. Yeah, keep doing that, but try it. You might find some neat results. And then I have a thing here where I set a goal that I'm not wanting to do. Like my goal is not to. That's actually the words I wrote down. And then there's another blank that says my goal is to. Now, I usually try to get a little philosophical. You can tell it's early. Let's get another sip of this energy drink here. It's early and I shouldn't even be here right now doing this. So I'm off a little bit. All right. So yesterday, my goal is not to. I wrote skirt reality. I've got this big thing going on philosophically in my mind about trying not to stick too close to reality, believing that impossible things can happen. And so in my almost daily for a while now, my goal not to have had something to do with that. So yesterday, the goal is not to skirt reality. The goal is to attack reality head on. And sometimes I'm writing things like shifting reality and changing reality. And I'm enjoying that, though. It gets my mind working. All right. So the next block is the exercise block. And this one continues all day long. I'll have some decent time length workouts during the day, but most often my workouts and my physical fitness regimen occurs on and off throughout the entire day. I'm trying to cultivate a life of physical fitness, not just I'm going to go to the gym for a few minutes and then I'm done for the day. No, I want to stay active all day long. And so obviously I score myself on that. And for me to get a score of 10, some specific things must happen. For one, I have to hit my 10,000 steps. Yesterday I had 12,361, and so got it. I have to do at least one long workout. And so that's either a hike, a long ruck, one of those usually is just me rucking to the mailbox. I live a half mile from where my mailbox is at the end of our dirt road. And so, that's that. That's one of the things. Yesterday, I actually did that, though, and Monday is our strength training day in the Iron Barn here on the property, and so I got both. But so I have to get my 10,000 steps, one long workout, and I have to have my 100 push-ups, 100 squats throughout the day. And so I usually break those up into 4 sets of 25 apiece. But it's been probably a month and 3 or 4 days since my birthday last month. I've been trying to do 100 push-ups and 100 squats every single day. And so I've actually seen some good physical results from that as well, but those are the things I have to accomplish to give myself a score of 10. But let's go through and I'll show you everything, or not show you, I'll tell you everything I've got here in this box. So I've got a thing for my 10K steps, 10,000 steps a day, tracking that on my Garmin watch. Mobility, I've got sections for AM and PM. I usually miss the PM stretching session, I'll be honest with you. Always hit that AM one though. 3 blocks for sunlight. And if you can see on the picture, I've got little blocks by everything. So I've got sunlight, 3 blocks. So at least getting outside. That reminds me to not stay cooped up here in the office all day long and to get some outside time. Even if it means I grab the laptop here and I go outside to do some of my work. I've got hot, cold, and so I've got a steam sauna and a cold plunge just right outside the office door right here. Try to do those. I don't do that as often as I should. I mean, honestly, I would love to do that every day. Don't always have time though. But so that's steam and then cold plunge. And then I've got a neat category NEAT. Blah. I think that is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. I can hear dishes upstairs. My son just dropped something. So NEAT, N-E-A-T, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. In other words, to me, those are physical things I do during the day, and I've got like 10 blocks for these. Usually I'll fill out about half of them. And that's me, I don't know, just stopping everything to go wrestle with the kids for a minute. That's my push-ups and squats. I put those sets in there. Me and my son playing dodgeball here in the basement. That goes in there. Things like that, fun things. And a lot of times the neat category ends up being fun things. But I'll be honest with you, if the wife shows up with a van full of groceries and I'm out there trying to not just carry the groceries in, but turn it into an exercise event, that'll go in there. All right, under that, I've got martial arts. And in the martial arts, I've got two categories, body and weapons. And so body is just, me practicing martial arts, holds, kicks, punches, all that kind of stances, all the normal things, doing my katas, all that. And then weapons. Weapons training is either me doing some of the Vikings weapon training that I'm doing with sword and axe, things like that. Some Filipino martial arts with the sticks and the swords, or anything to do with guns that day. And so it's been a good day if I check that off because I got to go to the range. Range meaning out in the woods to fire off some pew-pew rounds. And then I've got some other things here. Kettlebell, if I do an extra kettlebell workout. Core, usually every morning at 10 a.m., my 8-year-old son Sherlock will come downstairs and we do our core workout. And so it'll be a bunch of planks, mountain climbers, some gorilla twists, things like that. So me and him do a 10-minute core workout almost every day. And so that gets checked off pretty good. Jump rope. Jump rope, that's one that I really hate and I'm not good at, but it works. I like the way it works with the impact on my knees, my ankles, things like that, because as you get older, if all you ever do is exercises that you never leave the ground, so to speak, you're going to start losing a lot of your bone density and your joints are going to get weaker. And so I like to go out and do 100 jump ropes. Me and the kids actually have a bunch of jump ropes hanging just outside the door here. We'll go outside on the back under porch and we'll just do some jump rope. And what we do is we race each other to see who can get to 100 first. And so I really urge you to do that, especially you guys, ladies too. Just as you get older, it will help with bone density. And then I've got breathing, special breathing exercises I can check off if I do them. Strength workout, cardio workout, my weight for the day if I've weighed in, meditation notes. Usually that goes along with the breathing session. If any notes on what I did for meditation practice, and then grounding. And if you don't know what grounding is, it kind of goes along with some of the forest bathing concept of just getting out in nature. Grounding is when you go out barefoot with nothing between you and the earth. You're in the dirt or the grass or the water. And just barefoot and just allowing your body to experience that. And I actually do enjoy that. Sometimes if I'm really busy, sometimes it's nothing more than me going out on the porch, sitting in a chair with my shoes off, feet in the grass while I'm sitting there working or reading or something. You can multitask with a lot of these things, but I'm just, the thing about exercise is you need to try to fit it in as much as possible during the day. If you're in an office in one of those nasty W-2 jobs that you hate probably, find ways to do it. Wall push-ups, squats in your cubicle. If your boss gets mad at you, just do squats and wall push-ups in the bathroom where they can't bother you. Go in the stall and do that. I don't know. But find a way to exercise. All right, then the next block is my eating for the day. I chronicle what I eat so that I know what's going in and out. So obviously I score myself on that as well. Breakfast is pre-filled because I eat the same breakfast every morning. The supplement smoothie that I make, protein, creatine, ascorbic acid, fiber, and like a veggie powder, Reds and Greens veggie powder that I actually sell at my supplement company if you're interested in that. Most of the supplements that I take in the mornings come from my supplement company, MK Series formulas. But, that's what my morning is. It's the breakfast is the smoothie all the time. Now, if my dad's visiting and I go to Hardee's with him and say I eat a biscuit and gravy with my dad at Hardee's, I'll just write in something extra for breakfast. Then I've got a box for lunch, a box for dinner, and then snacks. And like snacks, everything counts. This energy drink has 10 calories. It's got 10 calories in it, and so it's going to count for snacks, and that's written in for yesterday. Yesterday evening, apparently, I ate a full bag of beef jerky. Also, I wrote it down, though. And if I'm doing intermittent fasting, I've got a box for that. if I'm tracking my food, which, to be honest with you, I usually don't. I like tracking my food, but it's not a habit that I've really built. But I've got boxes here, a circle to where I can do a graph of my macros and then how many calories I have left. I'm trying to stay 2,500 calories or less. And then I've got a thing for my water, supposed to drink 64 ounces of water minimum. Matter of fact, my Nalgene bottle's over there. I'm going to take a big swig when I'm done, but I mark off my water. And then I've got a list of my supplements. Now, if you're ever interested in all the supplements I take, I'll probably do that on another podcast. Just let me know, but I've got a whole list of supplements I take, both in the smoothie and throughout the day at different times, including my testosterone replacement therapy, which I'm chronicling a very long series of videos on TikTok and YouTube about my testosterone therapy and the side effects of that. And so click on one of those channels if you want to see those. They're short videos. Basically, I just talk about what's going on while I'm doing the injection twice a week. And so if you're interested in that, just pop on my TikTok or my YouTube shorts and you can see those. All right, then I've got a box for books that I'm reading, and then a box for things I watched, like shows I'm watching, movies I watched with the kids. Like yesterday, I watched an episode of Yellowstone and also an episode of Stranger Things with my daughter. Reading, I say just current books that I'm reading. And then back to, we're over here on this side now. So I'm a big fan of The One Thing. It's a book. If you haven't read it, it's called The One Thing. It's about prioritizing your day and also mainly prioritizing your day in a way that keeps you from getting overwhelmed with the day. And so the one thing, I have a big box here. What is the one thing I want to accomplish today that has to get done? Or if this one thing gets done, I am happy. I can feel complete, that kind of a thing. And so what is the one thing? It says here, what is the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? And so yesterday, it was some UGC videos for the NFL with a contract I've got with the NFL right now. And actually, Major League Soccer, we were filming some videos for them yesterday too. And so yesterday, about 2 hours of work with UGC videos. That was on a deadline. So it was obviously a one thing. Tomorrow, I'm teaching a bunch of classes for Michelin, the tire company. And so it's all day. I'm teaching classes to their management. And so that's going to be a one thing for tomorrow. And actually, on tomorrow's calendar, that's going to consume the whole day because I'm teaching from 6:30 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon for Michelin. And so the one thing I write down there, I score myself on that. I have time involved. And then beside the one thing, if you're seeing this on video, I have a little box. You can see a drawing in there. And so I have a little box. I usually I try to draw a picture of something that happened during the day, just a stick person or some nature or something. But more often than not, I give my kids a chance to draw the picture. And yesterday, my son was reading his, he was doing his doodle book for homeschool and talking about dragons and Vikings. And so he drew a picture of, apparently this dragon is carrying, it might be me. It's a dead body stick person. This dragon's carrying him off. And so my son drew that. But a little bit of art on the business side of the page. And then under the one thing, I actually have a to-do list with only 5 boxes in it because I try not to throw too many things into the day. And so yesterday, for example, number 1 was Iron Barn, strength training workout with my kids the first thing in the morning. Number 2 was my one thing. I just wrote in one thing. So that was the UGC videos. Number 3 yesterday was my to-do number 1 priority items, and that goes back to my Google Calendar. All the items on my to-do list that had a number 1 by them, my goal was to get those done. And then I had a scheduled audition interview to do some acting in some commercials for a medication company, and so that was on there for number 4. And then number 5 was hot and cold therapy. I find that certain things, if I don't plan them in, they don't happen. I could easily just fill these boxes with nothing but work stuff, and the other things wouldn't happen. I'd be tired. I'd make excuses. I'd forget. And so number 5 is usually what I'm planning on doing that evening after work, whether it's kids' football practice, some type of a workout for me, some type of an activity. And then I do have 2 boxes here labeled extra. These are for things that just come up. Oh, you know what? I didn't score myself for what I got done yesterday. So a little bit of active work right here, right now, while we're doing this. All right, so I'll be honest with you. Yesterday, the night before, I was up from like 2 to 4, just could not get to sleep. I have real bad insomnia from the tinnitus from the military. And so if the ringing in my head, which is constant 24/7, at night, sometimes it bothers me more and I can't sleep. Just the ringing is too loud and I can't sleep. And so I was up a ton the night before. And by the time it hit the evening yesterday, I did not want to do my sauna or my cold plunge. And so I didn't do that. So I'm going to give myself, I got a lot of work done yesterday and it was good work. So I'm going to give myself a score of 8 for yesterday. But yesterday I skipped the sauna and the cold plunge. But in the extra boxes here, I had some impromptu counseling for someone I had to do yesterday because somebody had an emergency issue that came up. And so I actually had to spend some time that I had not planned in doing some counseling. And that's not a problem or anything. That's why I have these extra boxes. That also helps remind me that if I give myself, or if I didn't get everything done for the day, but maybe some extra things popped up I had to deal with, I don't give myself a bad score for that. I just score accordingly. All right, next box. I have this written in here. What did I do to build version 2.0 of myself? And so in this box, to me, it's how did I perform just in general? Like, was I snappy at people? Did I get angry too quick? Was I lazy and tired all day? Did I beat myself up over something I did? That's where I usually write more feelings and reflection in that box. And I score myself on that too. I actually wrote in there because of the lack of sleep the night before, I knew I was going to be irritable. And so I actually scored myself a 10 because I managed to not blow up at anybody yesterday, even though I was tired and grumpy all day long. Managed to hold that in. They probably noticed a little bit, but I didn't blow up at anybody. So that's a 10. Yeah. All right. And then the next box is time to shut down. This is like bedtime and end of day stuff. So here I wrote what time I go to bed. In general, as far as routines go, in general, 10 o'clock, I shut everything down. The kids are going to bed. I come downstairs and I'll just lay in the bed and I've got a little routine. I know they say no blue lights in the bed, no TV at night, that kind of thing. But some of us, we have routines that help with those kind of things. My buddy Kent Julian, I don't know if he still does this, but he always talked about he would turn on Seinfeld on the TV in his bedroom and something about that show, and he'd be asleep in 5 minutes. And so I've been actually practicing with that. Animal Control, the comedy series, is on Netflix right now. And so generally, I'll lay in bed and turn that on my phone, and I'll be asleep within 10 minutes and never remember the episode or anything. And then I've got my Netflix set up to where it doesn't keep channeling through the next episodes. And so it stops and I'm asleep. I actually talked at the VA when we worked on some insomnia therapy. I asked the doctor about that, they talk about all this blue light stuff and all that. But what the doc said to me was, if you're having problems with insomnia and things like that, sometimes you got to step outside what the normally accepted rules are. And if a TV show at night helps me get to sleep, do that. Matter of fact, he even said if I wake up and can't get back to sleep again in the middle of the night, just turn the TV show back on again and try it again. And that's actually worked pretty well for me. So keep that in mind. Yes, the blue light thing and all that is true. Yes, the cycling down electronics and everything before you go to bed is a good thing. But if you have conditions that force you outside the norm, you might have to step outside the norm for how you work with those. All right, so then I write down how much I sleep. This is pretty bad though, because I track my sleep on my Garmin, and I got the report for last year, and I think 3 days out of the entire year last year, I got 8 hours of more of sleep. Typically, I'm between 4 and 7 hours of sleep, and it ranges depending on how bad the ringing in my head is. And I've got strategies that I try down here where my bedroom is to make it more suitable for sleeping. But just not a lot of sleep sometimes. And so then I'll also write down the best thing that happened to me today. Yesterday, it was an awesome job with those NFL commercials that I filmed. I've already gotten back the finished versions that they edited and everything, so that was pretty cool. It went perfect. And then the worst thing today, I won't tell you the worst thing that I wrote down because it's about somebody. But I'll write down the worst thing that happened today. And I write that down, usually not to dwell on it, but to reflect on maybe what can I do to make it better. And then the very last section here on the business side is goals. And so right now I've got education goals. I try to do some type of education every single day. Every single day, continuing education. And so a lot of times for me, though, that ends up being, I'll play YouTube videos on something I'm trying to learn while I'm working. When I'm doing kind of like mindless work, like checking emails and stuff, I'll have the YouTube videos playing. And right now I'm investing a lot of time heavily into maximizing my TikTok account and TikTok shoppable videos. And so I've been watching a lot of videos learning how to do that. And so education, yesterday I just wrote down YouTube videos. I actually listened to a very long Tim Ferriss podcast. I had that playing while I was working. And then a house goal. So right now the house and the farm, we constant projects because it's a farm and an old farmhouse. Right now land clearing is the goal. In the cold months when ticks and snakes and poison ivy and all that are not as abundant and not as out there, we try to do land clearing. In other words, we've got large sections of woods where we're trying to clear out briars and kudzu and things like that. And so land clearing is on the docket until the spring. And so then I have a work goal. On TikTok and YouTube, I've been doing a series called 5K or Bust. Had some horrible things happen in the business last year. Lost most of my major clients, and several income streams for different reasons gone. Decimated my income. Actually, put us in a very bad spot financially that we're still in. So hence my work section is 5K or Bust. I've been chronicling what we're trying to do to get out of that, to get back to at least $5,000 a month in income, or bust, because obviously you don't want to lose the house. And so that's my current big work goal. All right, now I know y'all been waiting on this. Dave, what is the not business side of this journal page and what's it all about? So basically, when I print these journals out, and I'll print them 30 at a time, so I print enough for a month, and I print them out the front side. I'll change it as necessary every month, like if I change up supplements, anything like that. And then I print on the back, just like graph paper, just boxes and lines. You can see those there. And so boxes and lines are printed out on the back. So the back is all, for me, it's creativity and writing. So I often will paste a picture or something there, and not often, I always will. Stickers, pictures. I'm going through a thing right now where I'm, let's see. Oh, sorry, I had to pause that for a second. So the pictures I put on the back are almost always of women. Let me explain that part because that might seem weird. I have 4 boys and 1 daughter. And my boys, they have a lot of role models and examples in their lives to follow. And it's a lot easier with them also because it's easier to find role models and things on YouTube videos, like Jocko Willink, people like that to look after and go by. But my daughter, she has no, I don't know, it's a hard way to put this without sounding mean, but she has no role models in her life. How to be a proper young woman, how to be a good wife, how to be a fierce woman, how to be physically fit. The women that are in my daughter's life, almost all of them are not healthy. I'm just trying to do this in a nice way, but it's gonna come off bad anyway. Or it's gonna sound bad. But most of the women in her life are feeble or fat. And horrible, absolutely horrible physical examples of what she can be. And I don't want to instill in her any type of a complex like I have to be skinny or this. I don't want my daughter to ever think she has to be a swimsuit model and have that physique and sacrifice everything for that. But just being healthy. She loves getting out there in the weight room with me and biking with me and hiking and doing physical things. But then when she's done with me and she sees the other women in her life, she sees a lot of women that either can't do anything or don't bother doing anything. And so one of the things I try to do with these pictures I put in my journal, because my kids see these, it's a bit of almost like, I don't know, subliminal or something like that, but some subconscious messaging here. I try to have pictures of women doing incredible things. Like yesterday was the Dr. Aphra character. She's an adventurer, an explorer, and an inventor in the Star Wars universe. A lot of times I'll find pictures from magazines of women with their kids doing active things, like working in the garden or playing on the beach or just out roller skating. Or my daughter loves paddleboarding. I mean, when I can find pictures in magazines of, like, say, a mom and her daughter, mom and kids, something like that, or just a teenage girl paddleboarding, I'll post those in my pictures, and that way my daughter sees that. I want to just, there's only so much I can do as a dad to influence her as a woman. Because if I try too hard, I'm only going to influence her to be a tomboy. And though that's not horribly wrong, she's probably going to end up being a bit of a tomboy anyway, or at least tougher than most of the boys that will ever want to court her. She needs, I don't know, just women need female role models. And this is kind of the only way I can do that. I don't have, short of going outside my marriage to find other women to bring in to speak into her life, which would not go over well. There's just no way I can give her good female role models. And so I'm doing what I can. That's a bit of a personal issue. But if you have any ideas, suggestions, anything, feel free to shoot me a comment, because especially other dads, if you've run into this, and especially single dads of daughters, I can't imagine how incredibly tough that might be. If you have any ideas, tips for that kind of thing, send it in, because I don't want my daughter growing up to be just another one of the boys. I want her to be able to fully embrace being a woman as she grows up. I just wish she had better role models. And so I do what I can with that. And the rest of what I do, a lot of the writing that I do on this, and I filled this page up yesterday, is me writing out my prayers. I pray in the morning before the kids get up, but then when I sit down and do my morning routine, I usually write down my prayers. And I've been doing that for years and years and greatly enjoyed it. It helps me think more about what I'm praying. Helps me not drift off. If you've ever been one of those people that fell asleep praying, and don't get me wrong, there's no better way to fall asleep, but sometimes you don't mean to and don't want to. And so it's a great way to do that. And so I highly suggest that for everybody. Just try it for a while. Write out your prayers. It's also neat to look back on the memories of the things that you prayed for and see what God's accomplished in your life. And so beyond that, though, I will use the rest of this journal on the backside to just write out meeting notes, ideas that pop in my head, quotes from books, all kinds of things. And so that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the chronicle of Dave's journal. And so if you have any questions, or like I say, if you want some of these, something like this to go by for yourself, feel free to hit me up. Hope you guys have an amazing day. My day didn't start off well, but you know what? I call this found time. It's like when you get to the doctor's office and the doctor's running late. That's extra time. For me, I take a book to the doctor's office. I have a chance to sit and read for a minute. I didn't get to go do my prayer walk this morning because my truck is broke down. And so I had a chance to do this podcast here and talk to you guys. And so I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And I hope that you can make some good use out of this that might change your life. All right. Y'all take care. Hey, everybody, before we close out, first of all, I hope you enjoyed that podcast, whether it was an interview with an amazing entrepreneur or a business lesson for me. I sincerely hope that you gain something from it that you can use in your life moving forward. Before I leave, though, I need to mention that this podcast is sponsored by Lowe's Home Improvement Stores. I have become a Lowe's creator. It's a pretty cool thing because on this farm, I'm looking out the window right now and seeing all the things that I want to do around here. Most of these things I can do with products from Lowe's Home Improvement. And so I'm excited to be a Lowe's creator. If you want to check out some things from them and order some stuff and see my specially curated Lowe's storefront, you can click in the show notes. There's a link there for you. And I hope you build some amazing things. And hey, you know what? If you do, send me pictures. I would absolutely love to see the amazing things that you're building at your house using Lowe's products or anything else, really. I'm just curious. I want to know everything about you and everything about the cool projects you're doing, because I'll be honest with you, I get some neat ideas for things I want to do at my house as well. All right, y'all take care. Thanks for listening.